Hello, hi and welcome everybody. My name is Aram and I'm trying to answer the following question. What is the future of lightweight rowing? And this is a pretty difficult question to answer. It took me 5 pre-recordings, so I recorded this entire video 5 times before this recording. Hello and welcome everybody. My name's Aram. What about the future of lightweight rowing? Does lightweight rowing have a future? And if so, what will the future look like? What is the future of lightweight rowing? Is there any? Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Aram and I'm trying to answer the following question. What is the future of lightweight rowing?
Please listen carefully.
It's a very challenging question to answer because there are many layers to this issue and this topic is a controversial one as well. Keep in mind, whatever I say right now, I'm no official. So I'm not a member of FISA, I'm not part of their communication, and I don't really know what they are discussing. I'm just a rower. I'm a rowing coach, I'm an entrepreneur in the field of rowing, and I have a passion for the sport. And personally, as I've been a lightweight rower myself, and I just love to see the sport grow, this is a topic that touches me, and this is why I want to talk about it. So first up, let's establish a few facts here. The FISA was founded in 1892, the World Rowing Federation as we know it today, in Turin, in Italy. 1896, the first Olympic Games were held. And I will keep on talking about Olympics and you will quickly know why. There's a massive correlation between growing rowing as a sport and the Olympic Games. The first rowing regatta, the Olympic rowing regatta, should have been held 1896, but due to bad weather, the races were all cancelled. So the first real Olympic regatta took place in 1900 during the next Olympic Games. Rowing, lightweight rowing itself, was actually offered by FISA during World Championships the first time for men in 1974 and the first time for women in 1985. So there is a bit of tradition to this. Not a huge tradition, but a bit of tradition. The idea was that lighter and apparently smaller athletes don't have the same chance to compete against the taller and heavier ones. So lightweight categories were added. If you were head of FISA and if you had the job to help the sport grow, what would you do? Of course, you would do everything that was possible to get as many nations to compete in the sport. The more nations you have competing in your sport, the more relevant you become as a federation and as a sport overall. And I think FISA has done a great job in doing so. The Olympic Committee, who organizes the Olympic Games, has the job to grow the Olympics as events and as something to refer to. Now, they have the problem that many host cities are now overwhelmed. First of all, with the number of athletes competing and with host cities having to come up with so many different facilities. And a rowing facility, as we all know, is not so easy to accommodate. You need more than a 2K water stretch. You need very good water conditions. You need clean water, which is not standard everywhere. And you need pretty much fair conditions, which means not wind on one lane and no wind on the other lane. This is not easy to handle, especially not for host cities who naturally don't have a lot of rowing. This is exactly the problem we see right now. As far as my knowledge goes, the Olympic Committee approached FISA a long time ago, and this might not be true, this is just the way I perceive this entire thing. And they approached FISA and said, guys, first of all, you're awarding way too many medals. So your sport has so many athletes, so many different boat classes, please reduce. And secondly, we want to make sure that you award the same amount of medals to men as you awarded to women. Now, FISA had a problem. They had to make a decision because if they said, screw you, Olympic Committee, we're not going to cut down on boat classes, so what you're going to do, then Olympic Committee would have said, my apologies, but I'm not sure if rowing has to be part of the Olympic program at all. And right now, the Olympic Committee is going new ways. So they have added skateboarding, they have added frisbee. Now they think about adding esports to the Olympic program. Esports is computer games. The first time I heard it, I think, okay, now they lost it all. But to be honest, I don't like to play computer games. I like to spend my time outside. And if you're a rower, you probably see it the same way. But a lot of people watch esports. As far as I know, esports events are now, I think, the second most viewed event in the world. The future of lightweight rowing right now is heavily tied to the fact that lightweight rowing is still Olympic. And the reason why this is the case is that many national programs, doesn't have anything to do with visa, support Olympic sports more than they support non-Olympic sports. I can't really tell you why this is the case, and this might not be true for every nation, but at least the nations I'm aware of, Olympic boats are always more supported than non-Olympic boats. Imagine if no lightweight boat category would be Olympic anymore, then lightweight rowers simply wouldn't get a lot or any funding at all. And as we all know, rowing is not a sport where you can make a lot of money. So the bit of funding you get, which in some countries is just about enough to make a bare living, and in some countries it's not even that, would be gone. That's simply a scenario that is possible. I don't know if this is going to be the case, but this is possible. I was pretty sad to see that the lightweight men's straight four was not part of the Olympics anymore. This boat class was one of the most spectacular to watch. And as you remember, you know, the time difference between place 1 and 6 in an A final, there wasn't a lot. This was fierce fighting from start to finish because the preconditions of all the athletes were pretty similar. It was about technique, fighting spirit, technique, fighting spirit. That's what rowing is all about. It's so much fun to watch. Now we see a huge concentration in lightweight men's sculling, as we see in lightweight women's sculling, because they never had lightweight sweep rowing on the women's side. So all the good lightweight rowers either rowed a single scull as a runner-up to the lightweight men's double, or they join lightweight men's quads in hope to be selected for the double eventually. The interesting trend we see right now is that in every Olympic boat class that also has lightweight athletes and had lightweight athletes, like in the men's straight four, the world best times between the light and the open weight categories were not that far apart. Just to give an example, in the double scull, the Sinkwich brothers in Amsterdam, 5:59 something, and the South Africans, 6:05. That's 6 seconds. That's not a lot. That's 1.5 seconds per 500. And you gotta be aware that men have to be at an average weight of 70 kilos. What if they could have like 1, 2, 3 more kilos of muscle mass? And there are studies that say that if you have a bit more muscle mass at low weight areas, you do gain more power, you can pull more watts. Can it be possible that lightweight rowers who are that fast could also compete for medals in the open weight category? Probably yes. This is one of the messages I would like to convey. As sad as it is that the lightweight rowing is at least threatened not to be part of the Olympic program anymore, at least on the men's side, because I think women, with the entire gender discussion we have going on right now, are more protected. There's a good chance that if some lightweight rowers would actually decide and understand it is not easier to be a top lightweight than being a top heavyweight, and just go for the heavy and just focus on being fast rather than being a lightweight, we would have pretty fierce competition in the heavy, in the open weight sector too. It might be possible, and I'm not sure, but it might be possible that it is still believed that lightweight rowing is something that is easier. Although it's not. I think it's right the opposite. One of the best examples is the lightweight men's single scull under 23 World Championships, Plovdiv 2017. As far as I remember, Unka Batista put down, I think, a staggering 6:46. Everybody who's rowed in Plovdiv knows the center lanes can be hugely fast. During the heats and quarterfinals, the best times of the lightweight singles were almost faster, and I think even, absolutely faster than the open weight categories in the men's single just 2 hours after them. Probably there isn't such a difference. Now, I can't just walk around and say, hey, you lightweight athletes think it's easier to be a lightweight, just be an open weight. It's not that easy. A lot of nations actually have requirements, and although it might not be as harsh as it used to be in Eastern Germany, where you had to have a certain height, and if you were 1 centimeter below, you just were not part of a program, period. It's not the case anymore, as far as I know. But still, it's like, it's a bit the idea, if you're not like 85 kilos, 95 kilos, you're not a heavyweight. If you're not 190 tall, you're not a heavyweight. Now we see this is gradually changing. We see it on the men's side, Sinkwich brothers, not 190. We see it on the women's side, Janine Melin beats the crap out of everybody and is 170, I think. Things are changing, mostly because the material is changing. I think this entire thing about being tall and heavy has its roots in the material we had in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Soft levers, soft boats. You had to make an endlessly long stroke in order to accelerate the boat somehow. Now we have such a direct stroke. Carbon backwing riggers. And this is not a different world, it's a different galaxy compared to the material we had. And I made a video about stiffer material and just increasing stroke rate. It's going to be linked right there. There is a difference. And now we have the Randall foils, allowed since late 2018. It's going to be a game changer, because the moment you put the blade into the water, boom, you have full force connection. This is tuck, locked, full force connection, end of discussion, start your stroke, accelerate the boat. There is no up and down and take time to connect it to catch. No discussion. Boom, put your blade in the water, connections there. This was not the case in the 60s, 70s, 80s. What I want to convey here is my expectation that lightweight rowing might disappear, especially on the demand side. I might be wrong, but it is well possible that within 10 years, it will be gone. And another side effect of this is that the quality of lightweight racing might become less in terms of having less teams compete at certain boat categories, like we see in the men's lightweight straight 4 now. It's not so heavily contested anymore. And this is going to be the case until national funding systems actually adapt and change, and they fund non-Olympic boats the same way they fund Olympic boats. As long as this is not the case, any boat class that will be taken off the Olympic program will suffer overall. Now, I do see some trends, just my feeling. Some athletes start to care less about Olympic Games. For me, personally, to be really honest, I think World Championships are more exciting to watch than Olympic Games. Although Olympic Games still have that, tenor of being huge and traditional and everything. And it's a big thing to go there. I do think that lightweight rowing will become less. On the men's side, it may disappear in the elite level scene. I'm just talking about elite level rowing. And on the women's side, I think it's going to stay around a bit longer. This also for a reason, because women have to weigh in at 57 kilos average, and that's pretty far away from an optimum racing weight of about 65 to 70 kilos. In this low weight areas, every extra kilo you have as muscle mass makes you in relation a lot faster than in higher kilo areas. And I think men are just closer to the optimum racing weight than women are. This is why women's lightweight rowing still is simply needed to have more nations competing. That FISA has succeeded with its plan to add more nations to rowing is visible. And check out the Thailand lightweight rowing program. They have very good athletes. Thailand? Nobody thought about them as a rowing nation. They do have very good athletes. Ironically, and that's the other side of this video, I think lightweight rowing is actually going to become more. You may ask, hey, now what arm? Is it going to be less or more? More. Elite level rowing, less. Masters rowing, more, because Masters rowing grows. And just last year at the Euromasters 2018 in Munich, they added a lightweight Masters single for the first time. I think there were quite a lot of entries. And this is going to become more and more and more. In the US at the Nationals, they have Masters Nationals, they have lightweight rowing. They've had it for a long time now, as far as I'm aware. And I think there are significant time differences, best time differences between lightweights and open weights. As Masters rowing grows, and lightweight rowing is offered in Masters rowing, and they don't care about being Olympic or not, lightweight rowing is going to become more. And on scholastic side and on university side, it's going to be pretty constant, I think. It might become a little less on university level because it may be viewed as a runner-up to the under 23 and open class boats. But on a general basis, I think this is going to remain pretty constant. Now, there's so many sides to this topic and so many different answers, and I really don't know if I'm right or not. This is just my personal opinion. I'm looking forward to get your comments. I'm pretty sure this is a controversial issue, and I'm pretty sure that whatever I say right now, anybody can come up and argue and say this is not true, this is not true, it was happened a completely different way, no, I don't think this is true. Yeah, well possible. I'm not Mr. Know-It-All. I keep on repeating this. I'm just a rower like you guys are. Just one more question, guys. Who of you would be interested to join a rowing camp in summer in southern Austria? I have pretty concrete plans. I just want to get a feeling, I'm planning on having a beautiful rowing camp in southern Austria. So within the mountains, it's just beautiful scenery. It's going to be in August, probably around August. Anybody interested? Let me know. info@rmtraining.com. And another question for you guys. I'm thinking about having a YouTube live, maybe for half an hour, where you guys can go online and ask the questions you wanted to ask me directly. And this can be rowing technique related, training program related. So I've never done a YouTube live. I have no experience with it. But I think it can't be that difficult. So if you're interested, write it in the comment section, let me know, and help me grow the channel, share the video, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I'm looking forward to see you next time. Have a good day, guys. See you. Bye-bye.
You went to the screening of Pull My Daisy?